Hi, my name is Mohammed Rampak. This is the first video in Anatomy and Physiology 2, Lab 2, sorry. And I'm going to discuss endocrine system, particularly four glands, pituitary, thyroid, pancreas, and adrenal gland in this video. I just want to kind of short survey with their function and their major lobes, major parts, and kind of major disease in this video. So the first gland that is very important in our body is pituitary gland. Pituitary gland is called master gland. Why? Because its function is to regulate the different the other glands in our body by producing three major hormones, which is the first one is ACTH, adrenocorticotropic hormone, and FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, and TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. And the anatomy is like this. This is the anterior part, which is responsible for the producing the 80% of the hormones in the pituitary gland. It's the anterior lobe, and this is the posterior lobe. And and here is the collaterosacral sphenoid point, and this is the hypothalamus area. And this is the thing is in many anatomy books called optic chiasm, and it's very close to the pituitary gland. So the most and this is a short uh, explanation of the pituitary gland and its function. And regarding the disease, it's very important because it's very close to optic chiasm. If we have a kind of tumor around that, it causes a vision issue for us. And the most frequent disease that within the people is called a pituitary adenoma, which means tumor around surrounding the gland, pressurize some optic chiasm and pressurize the pituitary gland by itself, and it causes kind of malfunction of hormone production, and also the vision issue if we have like vision issue, and also the sexual dysfunction because pituitary makes FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, particularly in ladies, in females. We can have this. If we have those symptoms, vision loss with sexuality dysfunction, both male and female, it's a kind of symptom for pituitary adenoma, and we have to go to the doctor and see what we could do. The other part is thyroid gland. Thyroid gland is located anterior to our neck and lays down the Adam's apple. It has two parts, left and right, and connected through the bridge. And the color is red and brownish because it has a lot of blood vessels, and also it has a it's a place for the nerves that pass through, especially for the voice. And it produces two major hormones, T4 and T3. And thyroxine is the T4 is responsible for the metabolism, body temperature, growth, and development. And also in childhood, and the thyroid hormones is really responsible for the brain development. We must be careful if our kids has a thyroid dysfunction. We have to take care of it because of their for the brain tissue development. And regarding the pathology, the most important part of the thyroid is if the thyroid gland is hyperactive, it's called hypothyroidism, and hypoactive or less active like hypothyroidism. And this means hyper means overaction, mean overfunction, may produce many more than needs hormone, and hypo produce less than need hormones. And hyperthyroidism caused by Grave disease. Grave disease is a kind of autoimmune system disease that cause our thyroid to be overstimulated. So, and the next part is the pancreas. And pancreas is um, the most important gland in our body. It has two functions, endocrine and exocrine system. Because exocrine function, because endocrine means secreting hormones into the bloodstream and travel to the far organs and regulate, and also exocrine because it secretes hormones into ducts because it secretes hormones to the small intestine for the digestion. So it has four few parts, and in this we can see the tail, we can see the body, we can see the neck, and we can see the head. And the major part, the major function of the pancreas is for the for the digestion. It makes a digestive juice, pancreatic juice, is to is secreted into a small intestine for absorption of the nutrients, and it's really important to have that. And the most important enzymes that pancreas make is insulin and glucagon for the blood sugar and the adjustment of the glucose uh, amount in our body. So, and regarding the pathology, the most common pathology within the pancreas is pancreatitis. Pancreatitis means inflammation. Pancreatitis means inflammation of the pancreas, and it's caused by like many bad dietary regime, like using a lot of alcohols. It cause those symptoms come with like nausea, vomiting, and abdominal pain, and maybe kind of bloated pain, belly or something. And it's very important to see it's the first diagnosis for the first differential actually is for um, pancreatitis and needs to be considered meticulously. And the last part and very important part of our body is the adrenal gland. Adrenal gland is located above the kidneys, is like a coney shaped things, and um, they are responsible for regulating our blood pressure and stress and kind of the psychological things. And adrenal glands has two major parts, and when we see it axially, transversely, it's like a coney, but it's kind of axial view or transverse view. It has two parts, medulla, and it's like in the middle medulla, and also cortex, the other layer. The, cor- the cortex has three major parts, and each part produces its own hormones or thing. And this part's called zona glomerulosa. Actually, it's like uh, the pronunciation is something difficult for me. No, not for me, for everyone. I think it has something. But the zona glomerulosa can produce sexual hormones, androgen and estrogen or testosterone. And zona fasciculata, this area, zona fasciculata produce cortisol. This is very straight. This is called a reticular part. It's called zona reticularis. Makes aldosterone, and the middle part, the medulla, makes calcitonin, if I pronounce well. And these four major hormones produced by uh, different parts of the adrenal gland. And regarding the pathology and the adrenal gland, the most kind of disease that uh, arose from the adrenal gland is Addison disease, called Addison, or adrenal gland malfunction or adrenal insufficiency. So the thing is, uh, in this situation, the adrenal gland is not working properly or is not working anyway, which means it doesn't produce the minimum amount of hormone or the necessary amount of hormone that we need, or produce nothing. And cause bad things to our body. So this was the short video of the things that I learned from this module, and I'm hoping that I could display my learning pretty well.